We're opening up a tab at the Northwest's first hi-fi lounge. And yeah, they beat Seattle and Portland to the punch. Today's guests, the founders of Stylus Wine and Vinyl Bar, a duo that survived a global backpacking trip. Think of it as the ultimate power couple. One is a certified sommelier, and the other is a jazz musician with a 5,500 record habit. And together, they've built a listening room that beats any living room in the United States. It's high fidelity, low presentation, and 100% vibe. So grab a glass and let's welcome Stylus Wine and Vinyl Bar. Don't judge me. Yeah, that was good. All right, Robby, we are on RPM, and you guys went on a worldwide backpacking tour, and you found a bunch of record shops. Tell me how that went.
Man, so it wasn't like the goal of the trip by any means, but we experienced a lot of that culture and grabbed some stuff. We kind of, my wife and I took a gap year to just kind of not find ourselves, but just to kind of get away from our area for a minute. We were stressed out working for other people in the industry, and it was just kind of that time. And so the world was kind of calling us. We were super into watching like Anthony Bourdain and all that. So we're like, let's just do it. So we rented our house out, we took off, and just saw the world for, which was supposed to be about 9 months, 10 months overseas, and ended up only being about 4 months due to COVID. But we hit about 14 countries, and then we're in India about 2 weeks before lockdown. So we had to fly all the way back home. And as soon as we got back, like a day and a half later, the country shut down. So
That's crazy. And
it
you're
was
an avid
intense.
record collector. So
Yes.
on that trip, are you just sending records back in the mail as you're finding them, or are you even doing that because you're backpacking?
Yeah, I did it once. I bought a bunch in France, and I sent them back with other souvenirs that we had bought because we just had our backpacks. So but once those were not capable of holding any more things, we sent back a care package to the kids. And then other than that, I collected quite a bit of 45s and kept those nice and safe, and shipped those back as well. Yeah.
I've
But
avoided getting into 45s. I'm sure it's coming.
yeah, it's addictive, especially in Europe. I mean, you can find some
Yeah.
really, really fun stuff for sure.
That's cool. Okay, so when you were over there, did you stumble into some kisses? Did you stumble into some listening rooms that just really started getting your mind kind of going, saying, this is the avenue I'm going to end up?
Yeah, and I think at that time, we had conceptually had the idea of Stylus, which is our wine and hi-fi bar here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, but we were just kind of forming ideas and concepts, and what would that be if we decided to do that. And so we kind of were just in the back, keeping organized notes and kind of creating a morgue of images of what we want it to be. Our first record bar we ever visited was in Amsterdam, called BRO20, and it's more like a heavy metal like focused place, but it gave us a lot of inspiration on like the energy and what a place like what we do could be. Yeah, it was really inspiring, and not only for the fact of just like the vinyl and the whole vibe of music and people just having a good time, but also how do you create a good balance of the atmosphere where sound and quality systems and hospitality and food or drink or whatever you're doing kind of equals out together. So one is not really above the other. It's always kind of matched. I would say that even the same, I haven't been to Japan yet. We're hoping next spring, but to see how the art of cocktail and bartending matches with the sound and the quality of the records in that room. And so when we saw that, I was like, this could be something maybe someday. And it gave us some inspiration in our own bar, especially with some of the decor. There was this drum cymbal plant wall in the back in this lounge area, and uh, I started as a drummer. Before I could walk, I was beating on pots and pans, and that's actually I got into record collecting was playing jazz drums in school. So when I saw that, I was like, that is so cool, drum cymbals, and then these beautiful green plants hanging off the wall. Just a really nice contrast of life and music and art. So yeah, stuff like that. It was always kind of like picking and choosing things, and just the culture of being over there and talking to people about you know what they love and what they love to do, and our community as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And growing up in a house that allowed drums, you must have the coolest parents ever because most parents stay away from drums.
Yeah, so my younger brother also picked him up after me, so they didn't really get a break for a while, you know. So that was
The
over, but
never-ending drum room.
uh,
I love it.
yeah, and
Hey,
yeah, and
you've
he
got about 5,500 albums, so
I got a
this
lot.
started
Yeah.
way before you were going to open up a restaurant bar. So what were you into? What are you into? And how did that translate to, did they all relocate into Stylus, or did you take segments that fit what you guys were doing at Stylus?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I was collecting records. My dad always played records in the house, so I grew up with them. It wasn't like a taboo thing at all, but I was familiar with that. We always had the turntable in the house. He also was into 8 tracks and cassette tapes. But because I needed to study the art of jazz, with school, this is before streaming or any of that. That was the only format I could buy to really listen to these old classic drummers and really get a feel of what I wanted to, you know, uh, move towards musically. And that's how I started really buying records. I had records that they gave us when we were kids, like the Sesame Street, the Read Along Disney book record series, which are great. I still have quite a few of those, for nostalgia purposes. But I still have like the very first record I bought, which was a Glenn Miller Best of album, because we were playing a lot of big bands. So that's how that started. And then I probably had about close to 100 records when I met my wife 20 years ago. And then
Only 100?
shortly, yeah, only 100. And then shortly after that, streaming came out. And I was
Yeah.
like, what is this?
Yeah.
I couldn't comprehend how you paid for radio. I thought it was neat, but I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
because I come from this, bohemian kind of hippy dippy style family. And so I started buying more vinyl because it was so cheap. And then I had been doing that for the last 25 years. I've never stopped. A lot of what I have now, I couldn't afford now. So I'm
Well,
grateful
that's totally
that,
true. I'm jealous right now. I can't imagine how many you bought for $3 or under.
yeah,
Right now
a
it's
lot.
everything's price fixed right now. It's $30 or more.
It's insane.
So
Yeah. And I
it
probably have about 80% here at Stylus. That's our main library. And we're always buying, a few each week. Or somebody will recommend something and we'll buy it. It's even more dangerous now though, because it's a write-off. So
yeah,
it's like, gosh, do I really need to buy that? Or, so
yeah,
yeah, it's
that
nice
my
though.
next question was, did you open a wine bar and a vinyl bar as an excuse to buy more albums? So answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it
wife.
is. Yeah, it's totally fine. But so you guys have a really interesting mix there. You're the curator of the music and have been, and you studied music and you know vibes and you know how to maybe play music to certain people that are in the room and kind of build on that. But then the other people that are there, they're taking care of Krista's wine, right? That's a
Right,
huge thing. And
right.
tell me about Krista and how she kind of curates the wine for
Yeah.
Stylus.
Well, she's amazing. She's a sommelier with the Court of Master Somms. She's working on her third level, which is the advanced level right now currently, and has been so active in it for over 20 years locally that when we opened Stylus, our whole wine club program like sold out before we opened, which was really great. We had all
Yeah.
these lockers. We are like, oh, it'll take us maybe 6 months to fill all these wine club lockers, and because of her footprint in the community and her doing such a good job and knowing her stuff, it was just gone like that. Um, but she is so approachable and reading people and knowing exactly what they're asking for on a wine level. So a lot of times people kind of drink who they are, or and it's kind of the same with music. I think your personality shows in through things that you enjoy, and it's kind of simpatico in that way. So she's really good at reading people and then asking them what they like and pairing the most perfect wine with what it is that they want to enjoy. And sometimes we get regulars and they're just like, pick us something. This is our budget. This is what we want to spend. Surprise us. So give us something different
Yeah,
and
that's
fun.
cool.
And she's really good at that. Yeah.
I'm sure you have a mean charcuterie board that goes along with
We
everything.
We do. Yeah, that's kind of our jam here. We're not a full like hot kitchen. We
Yeah.
purposely did that to keep like costs down, but also keep everything really fresh and vibrant and healthy, uh, and easier to staff, because labor is one of the biggest downfalls of any hospitality business. It's so expensive. So we're a very small crew here. Everyone works really hard. We are only open 4 days, but charcuterie is like our jam. We're very French focused. Our favorite restaurant locally closed about 5 years ago, which was our friend's French restaurant, Fleur de Sel. And
Oh,
so
that's
when they
convenient.
closed it, yeah, we were trying to think conceptually, like, what are we going to do food wise? What's our focus? So that kind of, it's like, let's do that. Let's be French focused to fill that void, and that keeps us unique on a whole nother level as well.
Understood.
And
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
How
it's
does it?
worked.
You guys are from the area originally, correct?
Not originally, no. We're both
Yeah.
like transplants from California, which is
Okay.
very common where we are. But I've been here, over 32 years. She's been here about 30 years. So we're pretty
You're
much
local.
locals. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're local. You moved there before it was cool to move away from California.
That's true. That's true. Before people are
Yeah, who
selling
knows,
their
right?
houses.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, tell me how it fit in initially in your town in Idaho. How did this concept? It had to be an odd one for some people that were in your neighborhood.
yeah, and I knew it wasn't a unique concept because of Japan and stuff like that, but I thought we're like, it's a perfect combination of our talents. So, acclimating it to our community was not that challenging in the beginning. We opened and we were slammed every day for a year. And we're very
That's
grateful
awesome.
for that response. I think everybody was really wanting to see what it was about. Like, how does this work? You know, and because of that response, we are able to survive now as long as we want to because knock on wood, we paid off the business in 7 months, which is just crazy uh, to have that response in that first year. But now it allows us to do things more creatively. So, when we have our busy times or our slow times, we're fine no matter what. But the community was really, really kind. We definitely are not a place for everybody because, it gets kind of loud in here on the weekends when we have our
Sure.
DJs or selectors. But we want to create that atmosphere. That's specifically what we do. It's not just to blast a room out. I mean, it sounds really good and full with our system, but that's not our goal to just like crank it up and party. It's about, sonically just having a good time and hearing the details and create a different experience in a wine bar. I think that we broke the stigma in our area with the other wine bars that are great as well, but there's like a thing where people think a wine bar is quiet and there's like elevator music in the background and stuff like that. And so we kind of took the concept and flipped it on its head. And because we have such a great wine community of a wine loving community here, being so close to like Walla Walla and Willamette Valley as well, uh, people really responded that wanted a different experience. And then so we get the wine lovers, and then we get like the hi-fi audiophile guys, the record collectors as well, and then we get people that love both. People that haven't listened to their vinyl in like 20 years or are just getting back into it. So it's been really great to inspire, all across those different avenues.
There's nothing better than a guy that thinks he's an audiophile on a bottle or two of wine telling you about his system, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We make friends with everybody, but sometimes you just
That's
gotta
right.
smile and nod.
Yeah. Hey, check for this guy. You need a cab.
Yeah,
Anyways.
right.
Hey, let's talk about what you put in there. I mean, if you got audiophiles coming
Yeah,
to hang out with you, they're gonna look and what do you
right.
what are you spinning there? You got some turntables, you got some amps, and
Yes.
some speakers. What do you got?
Yeah, so like back into my right in the back front corner of the bar, we have the two Technics 1200s, the Mach 7s, which came out, the 50th anniversaries came out right before we opened, so we lucked out with those.
I
We
bet.
have a
Yeah.
Master Sounds double valve rotary mixer that we love. Sounds great. We run a preamp through a Macintosh solid state MA 5300 and then into a tubed MC Macintosh 275 tube amp to our Klipsch Forte 3 speakers. So the
That's
thing
good.
sounds sweet for
You
sure.
can you can you can make everybody disappear voice wise if you needed to, but then you can also
Yeah.
back off and it
Yeah.
still sounds amazing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And we do have the the sessions in the winter months, once a month through October through April, we do a listening room. So during the winter time when it's more mellow and it's dark here at like 4:30, we do a listening room at 7 p.m. We pick an album or two that we love and play through the whole thing in a silent room. But we're able to EQ the system so people can listen to it in silence and it's like full dexterity and it just sounds gorgeous. It's a nice way to come in without distractions of like glasses clinking, people having a good time, which is great too. But if you want to just come in and listen, that's like our biggest times of the year that we do that.
I'm an old radio dog, so I did radio, but I didn't do radio when they were spinning records, right? And
Yeah.
so I moved into sales in radio because the salespeople had nicer cars than the DJs, right? And so
Right.
about 6 years into radio, Pandora comes out. The whole
Mhm.
Pandora curate your own listening
Of
through
course.
just typing in a word, and I'm like, well, this is going to be weird for radio. And then Spotify came out, and then that just really ruined all the people that I normally listen to, right? Because now I'm listening to one song. But I have found over the past 2.5 years, buying vinyl and listening to vinyl, that I enjoy listening to the full album more than I
Right.
do building the coolest playlist. I'm an
Hmm.
anti-playlist person now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we have a good balance on that with the bar because Wednesday, Thursday all day, Friday during the day, and Saturday during the day, we only play full sides or full albums. And then we only do like a curated track, list when the DJs are spinning and curating that on the go, which is great. So that's kind of their time where they're tracking the track, going back and forth on the records. But the rest of the time, we are operate as a normal style listening bar, hmm which I
Well,
think is
and
important
also
because
you
yeah,
can't have
the
a
whole
DJ there all the time. So giving a 20
no,
minute break and
no,
being able to do other
no,
things, you can put on an album and play it for 20 minutes and get some work done and then
yeah.
come back and flip the side. That makes sense.
And we love it because, we might open a day, we might open our Wednesdays are Monday. So tomorrow being Wednesday, we might open and I might feel like playing some new wave, or we might open and play some, Errol Garner on some jazz piano. I don't know. We kind of feel what the day is kind of giving us, and then it might change within an hour of the first customers walking in. If, they're in their 60s and they want to hear some Beatles, we'll throw that on, we're
Might be
not
pouring
opposed
for
to
3 days and
requests.
you're just playing rain songs.
Yeah, might just be
You
Purple
never know.
Rain
You can
on
do whatever you
repeat.
want. That's right.
Yeah,
Purple Rain,
but we
Clearwater Revival.
right. We just love. I mean, but we love playing everything, and it's because of the bar. It's really given me an opportunity to share more music than I could listen to in my lifetime, pretty much at home, more often and with people. It's really nice sharing that experience.
That's super cool. I think it's definitely a great concept. You're seeing variations of what you guys are doing pop up
Hmm.
pretty much
Oh
all
yeah,
across the country. I'm seeing a lot more here in Florida, down in the central to
right.
Miami area. And they all have their
Yeah.
their different kind of take on it. And so I'm kind of curious, the music that you like, your core music, what was that? Was that stuff that you listened to and now you're kind of sharing that with people and building around that, or are you just trying to kind of fit across genres and have a lot?
Hmm.
So if you get requests, I know this kind of concept, they don't like requests too much, but you're not going to tell people no.
Yeah, I mean, we're not opposed to it as long as like it fits kind of what we've already been playing. Like we kind of have a rule that when there is a selector or a DJ present, we don't take requests because we
Amen.
hire these guys to do what they do best, which is to create an atmosphere and tell a story with the 4 hours they're back there spinning. Their job is to create mood and vibe, and that's what we hired them for. I mean, everybody wants to be a DJ, so it's like when people
Yeah.
come up for requests, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't at all fit with what's being played, and that's kind of what we
Yeah.
stopped doing that on those nights. But other times, yeah, if we're playing like Credence and someone wants to hear like some, Buffalo Springfield, like I have no problem grabbing that and throwing it on afterwards, uh, because we do want people to be more interactive. And we do this thing on Wednesday where you can actually bring in your own record, and we'll clean it and we'll play a side of it for you, uh, of your choosing, and yeah, kind of create a little interactive thing like that. Sometimes, some weeks we get a bunch, some weeks we get zero, so it just depends.
It's always there for them, correct? Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
that's a neat thing, being able to bring your own stuff in. Um, That's super cool. What are your like core artists that you personally like? Like
Man,
tell me what you got into. You have 5,500 albums, so either
yeah,
you're very indecisive or you really like one band.
I am very eclectic. It is all across the
Yeah.
board, but I really love jazz because that's where my passion of collecting came from. So that kind of starts with a lot of the drummers like, Max Roach and Jack DeJohnette and Elvin Jones and Buddy Rich and people like that. But then I love, I'm a Miles Davis fanatic and, uh, Coltrane and Cannonball and all those classic guys as well. I love funk and disco. That's one of my favorite genres to like actually DJ and spin because you're just keeping
Amen.
that energy going. So everything from French disco to soul and more Motowns like the Whispers and the Spinners and stuff like that. I'm really into this new group called newish to me, but Breakestra, and these are a bunch of white guys that just playing the great,
I
like
know who they
they
are.
remind me of, like Tower of Power, like all that stuff. But it's just like I love when I find a new artist and it really speaks
Like
to you in
that
those
right there.
genres.
It's right
Yeah.
behind my head.
Oh yeah. Yep. I love that live and living color. The best.
It's
The
it's
best.
it's the best. It's quite
Yeah.
possibly the best sax solo of all time.
Oh my God.
Uh,
That cut of What Is
on
Hip
Knock
was
Yourself Out.
so good. Yeah.
It's
I always,
amazing.
yeah,
I
I
have
love.
multiple copies of that because I'm psycho.
Yeah, me too. I just like I out ran it too many times the first year I was really DJing and was just like I just buy two more as well. So
Well, if you had to
yeah,
run home and pick somebody up or take a kid to soccer practice, you could play Knock Yourself Out. It's like 25 minutes long on that album.
right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a
I'm
really,
trying
really
to
good
see what
one. What
else you got back there. Oh yeah.
oh well, I mean, I was gonna ask you if you're in I'm putting I'm paying it forward on a band called Antibalas. Do you know them?
I don't.
Perfect.
Anti-ballast.
I'm recruiting. So yeah, look them up. They're amazing. They're
Okay.
Afrobeat. They're so good. I'm
Oh
addicted to them right
nice.
now.
Nice.
I it fits with anything you're doing. They're from Brooklyn, New York, but God, they're so good.
Yeah.
And basically any of their new albums or any of their albums are good. I'm working and trying to find them all. So Antibalas, I'm trying to get them on the show at some point.
Anti-ballast. Oh. That'd be rad.
Yeah,
That'd be
and
really cool.
yeah, Antibalas, and yeah, I'm into the funk as well. I just started getting into collecting all the Parliaments and Funkadelic and all that stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
there goes my
That's even harder
pocketbook
to
for the
find
next year.
nowadays. It's
It
that
is. It's
stuff's
really hard. You
yeah.
grab it when you can
Yeah.
see it. So that's really
Exactly.
cool. Tell me, you brought some albums with you that you wanted to kind of show
I
off.
did. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
See. Let's see. So a couple of these are just really special to me. So this one, funny little quick story, I stole from my dad back in the day, and he didn't know where it went. Uh,
All right.
and he unfortunately he passed a few years back, but I did tell him I took it. He's like, ah, it's all good. Which is it? This is a live album. I think it's like 1956, 57. It's a tribute band to Glenn Miller, and it's got Tex Beneke and Ray Eberl singing on it with this group called the Modernaires. And I love it so much because I was really listening to it while I was playing big band in school, but you can hear like all the people having a great time, like, the glasses clinking. I really feel like I'm in that room, and it's like unbelievable live recording and the talking on it. Ray Eberl's a great host. It's on the Warner Brothers label. It's really great. Not expensive or really rare or anything. Just really really nice, really
I love
special.
that you brought that up, that
Um,
you can hear the people enjoying it rather than it just being
yeah,
music. I think that's
you
so
f-
good. And a
you
lot of
feel
live
like you're in the
albums
party.
totally miss out on that.
hmm This
Yeah.
is one my wife and I found in France last year. This guy is from the UK. He's called Common Saints. If you're into Pink Floyd, definitely recommend this record. Great production on this. The album's called Cinema 3000. Um, Great, just really nice, mellow psychedelic record. Some really groovy funk tunes on there as well. I always kind of grab this and put it in my DJ bag when I spin a gig. I
Heck
bought
yeah.
this also from France this last trip from a very famous DJ kind of underground record store called Yoyaku, and it's kind of like half modern art in there, half half record store. But they do like live tape DJ sets. Look them up on Instagram. They've got a ton of followers and they stream their sets live a lot. but they specialize in house and electronic music, and I've been spinning this constantly since coming back. This is Ron Trent, uh,
Nice.
Liftoff. This is part one. Just a really great electronic record. I really love that. This is one of my favorite new drummers I got into like the last 5, 6 years ago. Yusef Days from the UK as well with Kamal Williams on keyboards, and this is a collab they did called Black Focused. So they go by Yusef Kamal. Really amazing record. Again, beautiful production on that. I am a sucker for, especially when I'm looking for stuff for DJ beats, um, for drum beats, and I think that's why I got so deep into DJing and selecting was because I was listening to all the different rhythms, and that's why I love Afrobeat too and all that. But my dad was super into Santana. So when I listen to something, there's a
Yeah.
hook on the drums. I like this next record. I bought this next record just because of one drum beat in the record, and it's Don Glory's. Don't forget to have fun. This kind of went viral about a year and a half ago because of that drum track, and the track's called All Seeds. Uh,
Okay.
this is kind of a harder record to find nowadays, but really good record as well. That's Don Glory. He's also from the UK. And let's see, real special to me because my dad loved the blues and he gifted this to me years and years and years ago for a birthday. It's just a, classic Mississippi John Hurt. Really nice record, Traditional Press. I take really good care of this guy, um, and he is one of the few artists and valuable records I keep in Stylus. A lot of that stuff I keep at home, but I like playing this. I
Yeah.
play this probably once a week, and a couple of the DJs they love spinning out. They're opening with a jazz blues kind of intro or something. And then the first record I bought ever on my own. So yeah, is this Glenn Miller album.
There it is.
Nothing too special about it, but this is the first one I ever bought on my own. I remember the store I was at, and yeah, that day's a little foggy, but I do remember this record. I've always kept it with me and taken good care of it. So yeah, those are just a few of the things I'm into right now, and some of my favorites we have here at Stylus. And yeah, I mean, I could go on for
That's
hours, like
No, I get it. I get it. I could too. I mean,
but
I can't go on 5,500 hours like the
right.
amount of albums that you have, but I definitely could talk music for a long time. So why don't we do this? I put together some artists, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious if you, off the top of your head, can give me what the wine pairing might be for each of these artists,
Mm-hmm.
if you're up for it.
Yeah. So I did get them ahead of time. So I did talk to my wife about it because she's the
I was trying to
sommelier.
lead it in like we were going to be cool,
I
but you
know, I
went to
know, I know. I
you
have to
went
be
to your wife,
honest.
who is the professional here. So let's lead off
Yeah.
with the Meters from New Orleans. Tell me what
Yeah. So the
she
meters
recommended.
we both love the meters. She recommended a Malbec from Coeur, which is from France. It's in the Coeur region of France, in the south of France. It's actually where Malbec is from. Um, she said, steep, dark, rich blackberry and cherry, concentrated blueberries and fig, and a bit gravelly and rustic. So it kind of reminded her of that band. Um, it's got deep roots in the history of wine, just like funk and jazz are in the world of music, and I think that's why she
That's
paired that.
perfect. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. If I asked the vinyl bar down here, they'd be like a hurricane. Yeah,
That's
they wouldn't give
awesome.
me wine.
Yeah,
They'd be like shot of whiskey. Anyways,
yeah. And the
all right.
specific
So let's move
producer,
on.
yeah,
Let's move on to
would be Lil
Miles
Busby.
Davis. I'm sure you. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure you've got something for Miles Davis.
The first one we both decided on, but especially she was like Pinot Noir, like mainly because but from Burgundy, it's classic, it's silky, it's smooth, it's some of the best wines in the world come from Burgundy, and it's also legendary. It's they're one of a kind, just like Miles. It's unmistakably that trumpet artist where you hear his tone. If you're into jazz, you just know it's Miles Davis. There's no comparison. So one of our favorites right now is Mio Camazé. It's a premier crew from the Boston Romney, La Chams. So if anybody's a wine geek out there and wants a good new Burgundy to try that won't make you crazy and break the bank, that's a great one. Uh, but yeah, iconic, just classic and original. So definitely Burgundy,
That's
Pinot Noir.
awesome. That's perfect. I like the way you went with that. All right, this one might be a little bit more gritty. The Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore.
Yes. So We both love this record. Like I have like 10 copies of this album, but
Yeah, it's a good one.
uh, yeah, the first thing she thought of was going like a still, serious white wine, something pure and earthy, juicy and rounded, kind of hippie. So she picked a Basia di Navicella from the Alto Adige in northeastern Italy. They
Wow.
make like beautiful low intervention whites and reds, and we're obsessed with them. She she probably she said I pair drink their Pinot Grigio with this album, located in the town of Novacella in the Arsarco River Valley, and it was in founded estate in 1142. And it's got flavors and aromas of juicy pears, honey, white flowers, citrus, and minerality. You can drink a bottle or three while listening to this album, she says. So
That's
that's
awesome.
kind of fun. Yeah, I loved her notes on that. That's really funny.
You
Yeah,
can steal these and put them as little cards
I
and put them out
know.
on the table
I
and
know. We
stuff.
might
It's
have to
awesome.
do some promos with these next week. I might be like, hey,
I
let's
like it.
do it.
That's really cool. All right. What about Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah. She says Stevie Nicks is a
Rumors.
boss babe, a legend, an amazing, strong woman. So I think she was like really thinking about her voice mainly on this album. There's a woman winemaker from Washington State that's the same kind of badass. Her name's Ashley Trout, from Brook and Bull Winery, in Walla Walla. We love her wines. She recommends Ashley's Come Hell or High Water Red Blend. It's a full bright red fruit, cranberry, cherry, tart, strawberry with a little peppery notes. The wine dances on your tongue and makes you want more. It's also a bit earthy, but still serious, like Fleetwood Mac.
I'm just going to go
Yeah,
out on a limb here, and Krista is thorough. She
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 is.
is
She is
really doing a
definitely.
thorough job on this.
Yes, I know.
All right,
Yes,
let's end it
she's
with
doing.
something my wife will appreciate. You got to do something
All
for the
right.
wives. You don't have to go too deep into this one, but all right, what would you drink with Taylor Swift?
Bubbles for sure. Yeah, bubbles. It
That's
has to be
exactly right.
bubbles, but not crappy bubbles. It's got to be good, like refined bubbles. Serious but playful, she says, like a Cremant from Alsace, which is basically a champagne but not made in Champagne. It's just further east in the Alsatian region. Like an Orion Cremant, just like a rosé Alsatian rosé Cremant. So the Cremant's made with Pinot Noir. It's light, pretty, but made in the same way as Champagne. So there's still some structure to the wine. Soft bubbles, red berries, apples, citrus, a little bit of fresh herbs, and creamy deliciousness. She looks pretty good and she likes to party, but there's more behind a pretty face and good dance moves with this wine, just like T Swift.
That's so good. That's
Oh
really
my
funny.
God.
She did a fantastic job. My wife would totally want to work for Krista, especially in the wine aspect. And if you, yeah, that's great. I didn't know I was going to get that good of answers
Yeah.
off of that,
I
but
know.
she did
I
it.
purposely did not read them until now, just so I could
That's
like
so
react.
good.
Honestly,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
she did a
so
great
good.
job.
Well, hey, we're with Robby, and it's Stylus Wine and Vinyl Bar. They're in Idaho, and it's Coeur
Yes.
d'Alene.
Coeur
Coeur
d'Alene,
d'Alene,
yes.
Idaho. Coeur d'Alene. Okay. And this is my last question for you. You've got a great concept. You kind of moved your life into being able to play music and also run a business.
Hmm.
If someone's thinking about doing something like that, what is like one or two steps that you would recommend? This is what you should start thinking about before you sign a lease.
Yeah, definitely financially prepared just a little bit. It doesn't you don't need a lot of money, but
Yeah,
a decent chunk of change enough to get through your first 6 months would be helpful. If that means like taking out a loan or a heck loan on your house or whatever you need to do, definitely have something set aside for that. Don't um, feel like you need to struggle the first little bit because you don't know what the reception will be to that. Also, just
that's right.
take the risk. Take the risk and don't be scared. We were very frightened in the beginning, taking those first leaps, but no risk, no reward, as they say, and we're so happy we did.
Absolutely. And on the days that there might not be anybody there, you can just spin your favorite music
Yeah,
and it'll bring them in. But look, we've
it
been following you
does.
on Instagram for quite a while. Why don't you tell everybody where your socials are and how they can find you online?
Yeah. Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Stylus Wine and Vinyl Bar. All same with Facebook as well. And then our website is also styluswineandvinylbar.com.
The interior of your place looks stunning. If you had told me it was in the middle of or at the top of Idaho, closer to Canada, I would have said, no way. This
Yeah.
is in Beijing. This is in This is in New York. This is in San
Thank
Francisco.
you.
But no, you guys created that up there, and the community, I guarantee, is way better for it. And look, it's been a great,
Yeah. Thank you, Corey.
chat. I really appreciate it, Robby. First off, we're starting this thing. This is now our 4th episode. Thank you for jumping on with us. I really appreciate it.
You got it, man. Thank you so much. Look forward to the future episodes.
All right, it's time for this week's 2 in the Queue. What pairs best with a bold red? Obviously, a tall glass of Antiballus. This 12-piece vintage is heavy on the brass notes with a spicy polyurethmic finish that hits the palate like a freight train going through Brooklyn. It's an unfiltered, full-bodied Afrobeat blend, earthy, high tension, and guaranteed to leave you with a complex aftertaste of 1970s Lagos and pure, unadulterated funk. Antiballus. And our second one, if you just finished that bottle of wine, go ahead and put it on. It's Funkadelic, Hardcore Jollies. Got this one this week because it looked cool. I hadn't seen it before. It's limited to 500. It sounds great. And I just opened up my account buying Funkadelic. Wish me luck. What you got in the queue this week? Throw it in the comments.